This is a Saturday Morning TV log from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Welcome to another Saturday Morning TV log, and this time around it's Crow, brought to us by the Children's Television Workshop and Film Roman. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big D to you. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So this week's Saturday Morning TV log is probably one of the most forgotten shows of the 90s of Saturday mornings, Crow. It was produced by the Children's Television Workshop, best known for bringing us Sesame Street, The Electric Company, Square One TV, and 321 Contact, which you know best as the Sesame Workshop, along with Film Roman, the studio that had recently already been successful with Garfield and Friends and Bobby's World, and was partially funded by the National Science Foundation. Now, although the show would be the first show the CTW had produced that would not actually go to PBS like the latter series I've mentioned, every episode has it premiered on ABC. Excuse me. It had an educational theme introducing basic concepts and physics, mechanical engineering, and technology. The narrator of the series is an orange woolly mammoth named Phil, who was found frozen in ice by a scientist named Dr. C and her assistant Mike. After they defrost him, Phil tells both of them about life in the Ice Age, including stories about the titular character, Crow, a Cro-Magnon boy. Now, the series is based on the book The Way Things Work by David Macaulay. You may know him best for giving us some of those architecture books like Pyramid, Castle, and several others. Anyway, the show's story editors were Cindy McKay and Mark Zaslav, who was also the developer of the show. Now, the premise of using woolly mammoths as a teaching tool for the principles of technology was inspired by the book I mentioned. Now, Crow was created with the help of a developmental psychologist, Dr. Susan Mendelson, and its educational content was heavily researched. According to the CTW, as they were known as at the time, testing of over 2,600 viewers aged 6 to 12 found that they were absorbing basic science concepts through the show. Now then, the premise I will give you, as I've already mentioned a little bit. A scientist named Dr. C and her assistant Mike travel to the Arctic to study artifacts and find a frozen woolly mammoth named Phil. They thaw him out and are surprised to find that he can speak. Whenever a situation in modern times involves physics principles, Phil remembers when a similar event occurred long ago in the prehistoric valley of Woollyville with his fellow mammoths and his Cro-Magnon friend Crow, who lived with a family of Neanderthals. Each episode features Phil narrating how a problem was resolved through simple engineering. The show's and lead's character's name is that's kind of hard to pronounce. Occitan. If I mispronounce that, I apologize. Word for cave. It alludes to Cro-Magnon, to the location in France where the earliest anatomically modern humans were first discovered. Anyway, ABC premiered the show on September 18th, 1993. Now, even though the show did receive high ratings and drew the largest audience at its time slot, which that was actually the first show they actually aired, as a matter of fact, this was among one of the few shows that were new to their schedule. I think. Well, I know another show premiered that same year was the Sonic the Hedgehog animated series. Now then, as I've already mentioned a few of the characters and what have you, there's aside from Phil and Crow, there's other characters in the Ice Age thing. There's Og, the selfish, bossy leader of Crow's adoptive Neanderthal tribe. He's difficult to get along with, but easily frightened by danger. Gog, who is tall but sensitive, who sticks up for Bob, who I'll get to in a second, and mostly translates for him, even though Nandy and Og do occasionally. I'll get to that one as well. Now, Bob is another adopted member of the Neanderthal tribe and the least evolved of the tribe, resembling Homo habilis. If I mispronounced that one, I apologize. He doesn't speak like the rest of the group, but makes gorilla-like noises which Gog usually translates. And Nandy is the matriarch of the tribe, who is noted for her urban legends. Some of her legends include the legend of Big Thing and a monster called Big Skinny Thing with many, many legs. And always gets into arguments with Og and usually wins as she is fully aware of Og's own fears. And she's very overprotective of Crow and motherly around everyone else. And then there's Sully, another Cro-Magnon who got separated from her tribe, and Crow and the character Paka, who I'll get to in a bit, help her find her horse, her favorite horse, that is. But she appeared in only one episode. Now, aside from Phil, there's, well, various woolly mammoths. Ivana, a southern belle woolly mammoth with yellow fur and brown skin with a mole, who is Phil's love interest. Paka, who I just mentioned, is a young woolly mammoth with light orange fur and yellow skin, a close friend of Crow's. She and Crow meet after Crow confronts Celine the Smilodon. Then there's Steamer. He's the youngest in Phil's herd, with maroon fur and light purple skin, whose hyperactivity and love of making mischief often land him in hot water. Esmeralda, who is the oldest female woolly mammoth and matriarch of Phil's herd, has light yellow fur and gray skin. She makes sure that everything goes to order and that those who have wronged the mammoth society be punished. She has strongly mixed feelings about the presence of Crow's tribe in Woollyville. Then there's an elderly woolly mammoth, Earl. He has gray fur with dark gray blue skin and a bald spot due to not having longer fur on his head. He hates humans and prefers traditions over new ways of life. And Mojo, a woolly mammoth who is Earl's younger brother with gray fur and light gray skin. Like Earl, he hates humans and what have you, and well, you know the rest. There are now, Celine was one of the villains and what have you. She's a villainous purple-eyed Smilodon. She has a monstrous appetite for anything that moves, including the cave people. Now, according to the show's opening theme song, she and Phil were fighting on a cliff and fell when part of the cliff gave way. She landed on a lower cliff while Phil fell into a glacier and was frozen in suspended animation for thousands of years. Then there's also Big Red, the conniving leader of a menacing pack of bumbling dire wolves. He uses threats to scare his minions into doing a good job. The wolves are one of two antagonists on the show, as they would often try to eat Crow's tribe or the younger woolly mammoths. He has one of those few minions that talks. Well, there's others in YB, but they don't mention anything else. Murray's one of them. Now, because he threatens them, the dire wolves fear him. He thinks stupid things, which Big Red doesn't like, as seen in one episode. Anyway, it's been years since I've last seen this show, but I feel like Crow is easily an underrated and probably forgotten show, but nonetheless, it's still a pretty good show and what have you. Now, it'd be tough to find this, but there should be a few episodes available on YouTube. Some of them might be in English and some of them might be in different languages though, however. So, best of luck of trying to find these, okay? So, yes, and unfortunately, ABC canceled the show after 2 seasons. Were After only 2 seasons and 21 episodes were produced and aired. They produced 13 for the first season and 8 for the second season. Even after its cancellation, it caused the Children's Television Workshop to plan its own TV channel so that it would not have to rely on other companies to air its shows. So in 1999, the show returned in reruns on a new channel called Noggin, which of course was a collab between the CTW and Nickelodeon. It ran it ran for 5 years and reran for 5 years until 2004. It also got aired on Nickelodeon at times as well during their Noggin on Nick block for a couple of years. It also has aired internationally, most notably on maybe various kids stations or Discovery Kids channels. So anyway, yeah. Now, 3 videotapes were released of this from Republic Home Video, and each of them had 2 episodes. So anyway, it's been a long time since I last saw this. Noggin was the last place I saw Crow. I haven't really visited reruns and what have you. I don't want to get them mixed up. If some of these are in international showings and what have you, that might be in a different language. Well, I think you get the point. Now, for our characters, we have Jim Cummings, who was already well known for voicing Winnie the Pooh at the time, and Tigger as well. Plus, characters in other Disney cartoons voiced Phil. Voicing Dr. Cecilia, or Dr. C, is April Ortiz. Voicing Mike is Jussie Smollett. Now, let's see. Cummings also voiced Og, and there's more. Now, Crow, the titular character, was voiced by Max Casella, who had recently played Vincent Vinny Del Pino on Doogie Howser MD, which that happened to have been canceled that same year, which was a recent hit for ABC. Gog is voiced by voice god Frank Welker, who you probably knew him from numerous studio tunes, most notably from Hanna-Barbera. And you well know his voice from the Scooby-Doo franchise. Welker voices Gog and Bob. Let's see, I'm trying. He also and Earl as well. Oh, oops, I almost forgot. Jim Cummings also voiced the character Murray. Apologies for that. Let's see. Nandy is voiced by Ruth Buzzy. You may know her best from Rowan Martin's Laugh-In, and she also appeared on Sam Murray Croft's The Lost Saucer back in the 70s, and she also appeared on Sesame Street and also lent her voice to various tunes. Sully is voiced by Cree Summer, who recently had voiced Elmira Duff on Tiny Toon Adventures. She also lent her voice to several other cartoons as well. Laurie O'Brien voices Ivana. Paka is voiced by Candy Milo, who, of course, this was one of her early performances. She'd go on to lend her voice to other cartoons like Mucho Lucha, Maya and Miguel, and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Steamer, along with Mojo and Big Red, are voiced by Charlie Adler, who had recently voiced Fuzz on Brave Star, as well as Tex Hex, Paddington Bear for the Hanna-Barbera cartoon, and Buster Bunny for Tiny Toon Adventures. After this, he'd go on to voice the titular characters of Cartoon Network's Cow and Chicken after that. And Jane Sanger voices the character of Celine. So now you know about the voice actors. Let me go ahead and see if I can give you a better look at some of these characters. Now here's a look at a shot. This was taken from this was actually a cover of from video cassettes. There's Phil, there's Crow, Dr. C, and Mike. And of course, there's a little something like the CTW's logo that was used at the time. Well, if you're well, I can't really find much of the others in what have you. It's tough to find even the cave people in what have you. So I do apologize, but there is a way you can probably find them. Just look up the showing and you will know what they are and what they look like and what have you. Okay? So anyway, now you know about crows. I'd say if you're into maybe shows like the Flintstones or maybe some of their later spin-offs, well, and want some educational stuff, I'd say this would be right up your alley. But if not, then hey, it was worth a shot. But anyway, I feel like this is very underrated. You can find some episodes on YouTube, but just try to be careful. There are some in different languages in my view, so just just proceed with caution or something like that. So that's gonna do it. What did you think of this show? Have you ever watched Crow? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Now, I will have another video coming up for you later tonight. I won't tell you what it is. You just gotta be prepared for it, okay? So, I hope you enjoyed my Saturday Morning TV log of Crow. And if you did, check out these Saturday Morning TV logs for the, the last couple of shows that our favorite modern Stone Age family were a part of. In the upper left-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TV log on the Flintstone Comedy Show from 1980. The upper right-hand corner is the Saturday Morning TV log on the Flintstone Kids, which was also a recent hit for ABC. Or if you'd like maybe a little educational feel from the CTW, now Sesame Workshop, see the TV log idea on 321 Contact that came out in 1980 in the bottom left hand corner. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the Saturday Morning TV log, then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and next week's Saturday Morning TV log is Devlin. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.